You're listening to The Illuminated Ally, a podcast about tapping into the unfiltered voice of enlightenment. Each week, we are pulling back the veil with no chaser to step closer to the inner standing of yourself and your gifts. So when times are dark and life just doesn't make any sense, tap in with your go-to psychic transformation specialist to tackle the ins and outs of spiritual evolution. This isn't just a podcast, it's an enlightenment. I'm your host, Teaira, the Spiritual Valkyrie. What's going on, good people? Welcome back to another episode of The Illuminated Ally, and I'm your host, Teaira. And we have a little different setup because I'm trying something different. But today I'm bringing you another live reading. And I really felt like this was going to give a lot of people good information and know some of the messages that came through in this reading was really helpful for it's going to be helpful for a lot of people. Okay, so keep in mind that when I do my readings, a lot of the collective energy may come through, and then I specify what it is that is actually for the person, and you'll see that in this reading. But this week I did Elyse Preston, who is an amazing soul. Just tap into this reading and see exactly what it is that resonates with you. And then let me know in the comments how you're feeling, if any of this stuff resonated with you. And then, yeah, we'll go from there. If you want a reading yourself, you can go ahead and click the links in my description box below. You can visit www.queenswillitdreams.com/the Illuminated Ally and submit a form to be particularly to be a part of my podcast and get a live reading. If you are just like, you know what, I'm about this life, I need to go get a reading right now, then yes, you go to my website, queenswillitdreams.com, and book a session with me, your psychic transformation session. I have had the pleasure of being able to support a lot of people, and it's really important for me to really get to a space that is welcoming and that's elevating a lot of people, and to really help people heal in their journey and receive their guidance. So yeah, take some time, listen to the reading. It's a lot of good messages. It comes through, and then let me know what you feel, okay? And we'll be right back. All right. So thank you so much, Elyse, for being here with me today. I'm so excited we get to reconnect, and I really just appreciate you being a part of my podcast episodes today. So I want you to introduce yourself, tell me a little bit more about what you're looking for, and, we just get started.
Yes, well, thank you so much for having me. I had the chance to learn about you and your work through astrologer that I've worked with, and he only had like amazing rave reviews to give for you. And so even though we've only had one session before, I just felt like, yeah, a really strong connection and felt so much powerful, like resonance and wisdom coming through in our reading. So when I saw in your email that you were opening up these podcast calls, I was like, "Oh, I want to get in there. Okay, let's do this." But yes, my name is Elyse Preston. I'm based in Baltimore, Maryland. I am a coach and a community builder and a human design guide. And yeah, 2024 has just been a really like bumpy and like difficult year. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like I started off 2024 with high hopes. Like January's energy was smooth. And I was like, okay, this is an 8 year. We're thinking about strength, growth, abundance, possibilities. Immediately February hits and things just go left.
Boom.
And I was like, and it's kind of just been a roller coaster since there. But I feel like our session in August honestly provided a lot of clarity, like opened up some corners of my awareness and things that I was not clocking and things I was not thinking about in
Mm-hmm.
terms of um, support that was wanting to come in from my ancestors, ways to tend to and take care of my body and my energy system, and how to kind of like focus my attention and energy more. And so, yeah, today I'm just a couple weeks out from my 32nd birthday. And something else that was just really cool and really interesting that came up in our first reading was that um, something that you shared, like a piece of guidance that came through, was that I'm kind of like completing some kind of cycle, that there was this really um, kind of interesting pattern that was coming up about a connection between like when I was 18, 24, and 32. And I was like, "Oop, I'm not 32 yet. Like, what's what cycle is closing? Like, what's coming up? What are these patterns here?" And so yeah, I think today I'm arriving um feeling excited to like continue the conversation that we were having. Um Noticing that I do feel kind of like tired. I feel like my heart is a little bit heavy just in light of the recent election news that we received.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think I'm like tired. Heart is feeling a little tender and heavy, but still, for some reason, November has an energy that feels like it is full of some like newness and possibilities.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and I'm wanting to really give myself permission to like step into more power, more self trust, more like deep embodiment of um, some of these kinds of qualities that have felt a little bit more suppressed, like a little bit out of reach for me. I'm like, oh, actually, it feels like it's really time
Mm-hmm.
um, to be stepping into, yeah, just more like power, authentic voice and expression. That was also something that we talked about a little bit too.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and just I don't know. Now I'm just curious. I feel like I'm talking a lot, but just
No,
curious
you're fine.
where
You're fine.
where we can dive in from there.
All right. So, yeah, so let's hop in. I know the last time we spoke, um, I did feel that there was going to be a lot of different things coming up, and you're right about November still having that energy of like newness. It is a universal 1 month. So that is literally like new beginnings and individuality and really starting to look at what your ego is saying versus like what spirit is saying. And
Yeah.
it's interesting that you even brought up that January was like, okay, and then February hits because the last one universal month was in February.
Mm,
So it is now going to bring our focus more so into the shadow aspects of our ego and how we kind of transmute that energy into becoming more focused in our higher self, in our being, like how we want to show up in the world. And that's why a lot of the election and everything was like really showing people who people are and like where their egos are and everything. So of course you're going to be affected by the collective energy. You're going to be affected by everything that's been taking place. And so the goal is to elevate and rise above the collective energy to where you're not losing yourself in it, you
yeah.
know. So there's an intense amount of healing that's happening. Right. Well, it will be happening. I'm speaking more so. I mean, everybody is going to experience this, but like, I'm speaking more so for you. You're learning a lot about yourself, and the healing is going to take place when you decide that you're no longer going to vibrate at the frequency of where everybody else is.
I see.
So yeah, like this is right. So right now you're in a so you're let's see, you're a life path 8, I believe.
Yes.
Okay, and you're currently in a 4 personal year.
Hmm.
And so I remember we talked about planting the seeds and whatnot. But you're you're gonna start feeling the 5 energy of next year coming in like right now.
Got it. Okay.
Okay. That's why this like newness is coming up, this like need to change, this need to kind of like have a venture.
Mhm.
All of these things are like starting to show up. Usually they start showing, the energy starts to show up in November of each year. Because I don't know why it's like that, but usually in November, which is the closer end of the year, like that's when the next year's signature energy is starting to show up. So yeah.
Love that. Because sometimes I've thought about that because my birthday is November 21st. And so sometimes I like celebrate that as my new year. But that's
Yeah.
cool that the collective energy of the year also tends to line up with that because I feel like I feel it.
Yes. Like, oops. Yeah. So like it's we also have what we call essence cycles. You have your personal year cycle, then you have an essence cycle. Personal year cycles go from year to year. So January 1st to December 31st. That's the personal year because that's when the year is.
Okay.
Um, and then your essence cycle goes from birthday to birthday.
Mm,
So when you have a different when you experience like a certain particular energy, um it's because the essence cycle is starting to come to a close and a new one is starting to happen, and it always happens around the birthday time. So a lot of people when it comes to numerology, they kind of assume that birthdays, like from birthday to birthday, is literally the personal year, and that's not the case. It's just you're experiencing an essence cycle and a shift in your energy based off of that essence cycle, but your personal year is your personal year. But yeah, and it also aligns with the fact that November, the next year energy starts to come through as well. So your birthday just happens to be in November, so welcome to the new energy that you're about to be walking into.
I love that. I've never heard anyone use the language essence cycle before, but
Mhm.
I'm like, oh, I want to work with that around my birthday and like
Yes,
focus
yes, it's
on that.
very helpful. And the calculation, if you're not a numerologist, sometimes it can be a little confusing on how to calculate it, but just know like there's levels to it. It's just kind of like knowing in astrology you have your rising, your moon, your Venus, your sun sign, your Mars sign, like, and
Yeah.
then the houses add an extra level to it, and then the placements, and like that's how it is with numerology. There's levels to it as well too.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because I'm actually much more familiar with astrology than numerology.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. I'm like, I'm picking things up.
Yep, it's a great thing to learn. I think knowing astrology, it's helpful to have that numerology perspective to it as well too. Like it aligns. Um, Different language, but definitely same goal. So
Yes.
so yeah, but I think for you, one of the things is like coming up is one, you're learning a lot, and I remember we talked about the cycles
Mhm.
that you were going through, and we talked about how and I do like, and I think is I didn't remember you saying about the ages, but then when you mentioned it, I'm like, oh no, I remember that. And so yeah, it's good that you're coming up on 32 now because you're getting a lot of synchronicities. Like, so if you're pay attention to the numbers, that's why they're bringing up numerology. Okay.
Okay.
That I was wondering why they were having me talk about numerology with you. but but yeah, so pay attention to some of the frequencies and numbers and synchronicities that are coming up for you, because that's what, like, they're going to pave the path to show that you're like on the right track. Okay. Now,
Love that.
with that being said, the one thing that they want you to focus on, like seriously focus on, is the healing aspect. So those moments when you're like having the heavy heart,
Yeah.
don't shy away from it. Walk
Okay.
into it.
Yeah.
The healing is like the one thing I think they really are pushing for you to work through. The way you're going to be able to do that is through your spiritual partnerships.
Mm. Okay.
Your spiritual partnerships. This is I mean, of course you're gonna have to do your own shadow work, you're gonna have to do your own work in general, but like
Yeah.
it's pretty important for you to focus on the healing and how you do that through your partnerships. um
Yeah.
So that means any collaborations with, and I remember feeling like you were going to be collaborating with a lot of people. Um,
Yeah.
and so these can be with intention, these can be very helpful with business and your healing. They go side by side. Your
Yes.
business and your healing. If your healing isn't where it needs to be, your business will be affected.
Right.
So yeah. Do you have questions so far? Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. No, I feel like this piece feels really affirming because this piece about the healing is going to happen through spiritual partnerships, because I feel like even though this year has felt really hard and like things have been kind of confusing,
Mhm.
one thing that has been really solid is I feel like I have been able to like call in and connect with really amazing people. And I have been forming um, some different groups, like people locally who are also creatives and healers and small business owners, but then also some folks online who are not local, but also just people that it's been great to like be in relationship with and learn from and share resources and build with. So that's something that feels like when everything else has been feeling hard and like it's not working, I'm just like, oh, this just feels really easeful. Like these connections are just showing up and they feel so aligned and like so supportive. And also just thinking about my partnership with my fiance. We're getting married next year. And so right now we're kind of in this season of really yeah, just deepening into our like our future goals and what we want to build and what we're doing. And that also just feels really good. I'm like, wow. I keep feeling really grateful for like relationship and community. So I
Yeah.
because it does feel like it is helping me heal right now. It feels like
Mhm.
I'm learning a lot through that. So I want to keep like leaning in there.
Yep, as you should, as you should. And that's the thing, is like at least you're able to feel where the pool is being like is being placed. Like that pool is located in your spiritual partnerships.
Okay.
It is going to require a level of vulnerability, it's going to require a level of witnessing self. And
Yeah.
given that this is a one universal month, you are like I said, the shadow aspects of our ego was really the focus in February. So a lot of what happened in February had a lot to do with your shadow aspects of your ego.
Mm-hmm.
Now this is the energy is being more called into your child, like your inner childhood, because um we're going to see it. We're seeing it already, but like how people are identifying with themselves right now is super big. That's why
Yeah.
you're seeing like a lot of the stuff with the election. That's just the energy that is bringing in. So
Right.
it's important that with your healing, you're looking at like your ego, what that's bringing in, but also looking at how that's affecting or how it has affected the development of your inner child.
Mm,
And so, again, it's going to be reflected through your partnerships. It's going to be reflected through your business. I keep getting your business and your partnerships are going to be hand in hand in this. So, the
okay.
connections that you have been making, like, be more intentional in witnessing how this reflects you.
Mm,
A lot of times people will be like, oh, I don't understand how people say you attract who you are and this and that, and it's like, it's not about attracting who you are. It's more so of being able to witness the pieces of people, interactions, partnerships, connections that reflect who you are or
yeah.
that reflect what you need to heal from.
Mm,
You get what I'm saying? So even if it's not the best type of connection, it's still relevant. It's like, okay, this is triggering me in this way, or these people's opinions are triggering me in this way. Why is that? What is it that I need to heal from? What is it that I need to work on?
right.
You're going to be able to see more of that because now you're becoming a lot more aware that that's what you should be looking for too.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. That makes a lot of sense to me. I definitely feel like that even feels like it's been a big part of the curriculum for me of the last like 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
it has been like a lot of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's going to open up a lot more. And I mean, so be prepared.
Okay.
Be prepared for um a lot of change. Expect the unexpected. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, this is, and I'm saying this because this year, particularly for you, was a lot of unexpected things, but it was being placed. I'm seeing them placing you
Mm,
in a box, and
mm,
they're like, this this was happening because you need to be here. This is
mm.
happening because this needs to be out. Or this is happening because we need to move the box. Or like it's like
Yeah.
orchestration and getting things together. That's what it felt like. It felt like this year for you.
Yeah.
Um, and so next year, just be prepared to not be in the box.
Mm.
Okay. The box is underneath you still, but you're not in it anymore. So just know that that is going to shift. That's literally just the energy of 4 and 5. 4 year is in the box, 5 year is breaking free from it. So, but the box is still there. You still need it to remain, structurally grounded and, to have that foundation for yourself. But you're not going to be in the box anymore. So be prepared and for what that looks like for you is going to look different for everybody else. Okay. That goes even for your partner. That
Hmm.
goes for do you have siblings?
Yes. I'm the oldest of four.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was like, oh, they're saying your siblings as well too.
Okay.
Um, I'm feeling like there may be some disagreements.
Yeah. Okay.
Particularly on how you move in your life, what you want for yourself,
Mm.
your ideas and beliefs.
Yeah.
There's some differences here, not or differences and disagreements. Some people are not going to agree with what you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. Because I
Mm.
feel like my fears around that, it's like oftentimes not my closest people that I'm worried about. I'm like, yeah, whatever. My siblings get me. Like, Obi will be fine. But I have these fears around like what are, I guess, the next layer of secondary people that I'm like, "Oh, what are they gonna think? How are they gonna worry about those things you were saying, like how I'm moving in the world and what I want for myself?"
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. This is just what I'm going to say. I'm going to say this.
Yeah.
You're I do see just disagreements in how you're moving. Okay.
Okay.
And even how other people may move according to how they say they are versus what they actually do. There's a mismatch.
Yeah.
So if you are when you're in a position that you have to decide for yourself who you are for yourself, you have to put yourself first.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm saying this because like I got the siblings. The siblings is kind of like, let me just put it this way. Um,
Mm.
Back in 2020, when everybody was like, all right, it's about vaccination versus non-vaccination. And it really was like tearing families apart. People, friendships, everything. It was like, if you're not vaccinated, you're not coming. Or
Yeah.
if you're vaccinated, I don't want to be around you, or whatever the case may be. It's not that, but it is that energy.
Yeah. Okay.
So, so just know like next year
Mm.
there's going to be you're going to have to move in a way that aligns with your higher self and move in a way that is like I'm standing true to who I am. And if I'm rocking the boat a little bit, that is okay.
Right. Yeah, I definitely feel that. I feel like that energy has already been coming in this year too.
Yeah.
Um, like there's a big part of and I think it is connected to my business too, that because I am talking about like soul leadership and soul alignment, that it does feel disruptive to people sometimes to
Mm-hmm.
point out to them the places where what they're saying and what they're doing are not, it's not coherent, it's not congruent. But that's a big, I think that is a big part of like what I'm supposed to be doing. Like,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely. It's not about what's right and what's wrong. It's about what, like, I mean, everybody's living on their own frequency.
yeah.
Have groups of people who live on the same frequency and other groups who live on a different frequency. And
Mm-hmm.
it's not like, and I think that's the biggest thing moving into next year is that it's not about right and wrong. It's about frequency. What are you vibrating at? It's the same thing that I tell anybody when I work with those who have crossed over, who are no longer on this physical plane, how they passed away. The frequency that they were at when they passed away is the frequency that they are at once they cross over, you know? And so the same way we can help elevate people's frequency in living waking life, we can do the same when they pass over, you know? And so
Yeah.
it's not about right or wrong. It's about what vibration you're vibing at, you know, what frequency you're vibrating at. And I think we also, this is a reminder, they're saying it too. We have to still
Mm-hmm.
extend compassion. And then they're also saying, because, ooh, they're saying, you do not be hard on yourself when this takes place. I'm gonna be real with you. Like they are showing me how the negative self-talk is going to get to you if you don't stand strong on who you are. When rocking the boat a little bit makes people look at you differently, you're gonna have to stand the strongest for yourself and extend compassion to yourself. Okay. Um,
Feel like I know what this is now. It's about my mom. Me and my siblings are gonna have to come together, and because I was like, what are my siblings gonna be mad at me about? I kind of feel like it's there's gonna be a rupture in the family because my mom is extremely problematic. But like it's gonna be something related to that. I feel like it's gonna come to a head next year because it's been building for a lot of years.
yeah, yeah, like yeah. I do just feel like the relationship between your siblings is definitely going to be impacted. And it
Okay.
can go either way. It can go
Okay.
either way. Timeline isn't set quite yet on that.
Yeah.
And so it can shift either way. Now, I will say we're moving into a 9 universal year. So, and the way numerology works is it's 9 year cycles. So this is literally 2025 is going to be the last year of this cycle.
Oh,
And so 9 is about humanitarianism, compassion, benevolence. It's also on the other hand about anger, war, like the bigger picture, and it's happening on a larger scale. So
yeah.
this is going to impact all of us individually in our own ways, but with and how this relates to you is just about which direction you want to take it when it comes to how foundations may be a little the family rupture, if that, to say the least. You know, how do you want to go about that? You are going to have to take a stand for
Yeah.
what is right for you and what you know is the higher frequency.
Mm,
Do not allow your ego to get in the way of determining what that is, just so you know. And do not allow um, your negative, they keep saying your negative self-talk. So do
yeah.
not allow the negative self-talk to put you in a lower frequency.
Mm,
Because every time you think like, oh, maybe I'm wrong, or maybe, and not to say that you can't think like, okay, maybe I'm wrong about this, you know, but it's
yeah.
like it's more of a entry point of negativity. Got to watch your aura, watch your space, watch your energy because
Yeah.
you don't want easy access for these negative things to come through and just ruin your day, okay? And ruin your energy.
Right.
So yeah. And if this is and they're confirming that this is yeah, this has a lot to do with your mom. At the same time, when are you planning on getting married?
Like next, we haven't actually picked the exact date, but it's fall. We're looking at fall, like September or October.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, yeah.
Don't say that.
I'm just like, just energetically looking at that time. I would
Okay.
prefer, I don't, let's look at that real quick.
Okay.
I would prefer
Mhm.
energetically what I'm feeling right now. What I prefer is more of October.
Okay.
If you're planning on doing it in the later half of the year. So
Yeah.
let me look at that for you, double check. So you are 11/21.
That's me.
Um, I would say probably October if you're planning on between September and October.
Yeah.
I would say October. Just because and I don't know what your partner's birthday energy and all that stuff is. I can look into that later if you like, but it is very much from what I'm getting with you is going to be oh, let's see. Hold on. Let's see.
Okay.
Yeah, it's October. My gut was already telling me October, but then the numbers kind of solidified it for me. But yeah,
Okay.
October is probably a better time.
Yeah, because it seems like this might actually be like shit hitting the fan in September, or
Shit probably will hit the fan maybe in April or
yeah,
August.
yeah. Okay, okay.
And when it says like shit hit the fan, I mean like just
Yeah,
things start coming up, you know?
right. Yeah, I'm curious. Now I'm curious. I mean, it's fine. I just gotta let it unfold and see where it goes. But like, I'm curious. I'm like, is it related to the wedding? Like, is it related to what I was initially thinking it was related to within my
I
family
think there's
pattern? But yeah,
there's um there's a few things it's related to. It's not just one thing. So
yeah.
it so happens that you are getting married
Mm,
next year. But it's the root cause of it is multiple reasons, but like
yeah,
the catalyst, I guess, that brings it to the surface, maybe your wedding, or you like how you're doing things. It's more so about how you're moving that ruffles feathers for people, and then, or at least your thought process behind something that's going on is what ruffles feathers. So the biggest thing I would say is to just keep your composure, know your
yeah,
truth, and also extend as much compassion as you possibly can, because that is where that's where it will take the turn. If you allow yourself to get out of character, you know, out of your energy, and you're now vibrating at a lower frequency because of your responding versus like being proactive, then it can take a different turn.
got it. Okay. Yeah,
Mhm.
this is super, super helpful to know because I think I was coming in with more, yeah, I think more curiosity around business and identity changing and like things coming in. This is something also like new I wasn't really thinking about to be prioritizing for next year. Or not prioritizing, but like being aware of.
Being
And
aware of it.
yeah,
Yeah, because the
yeah,
thing is, the things that you're more concerned about at the moment, as far as like, yeah, identity changing and things that may be going on with business. Like I said, your business is very much connected to all of these.
yeah,
So how you vibrate, how like what frequency you're at and
yeah,
what truth you're standing in will determine how fluid and like uh prosperous your business is. Because
mhm,
again, your spiritual connections, your partnerships, all of these things root in the fact that you know who you are.
yeah,
So if you stay in that space where you're allowing yourself to grow and change and shift, because everything is going to grow, change, and shift next year.
yeah,
So if you allow yourself to be in that space, you're going to easily find that the people you're attracting, the partnerships you're attracting, the business that you're attracting is all going to grow, shift, and change. And then in the midst of it, you still may be ruffling some feathers because people want you to be who you were, not who you're becoming.
right. Okay,
So,
got it.
yes, that is,
Yes, right.
they
Yes.
keep saying,
Okay.
heed the message, remember the words, remember these words. They keep
Yeah.
saying it. Like, remember these words.
Heed the message. Okay. Love that. Does
Okay.
it feel like there's any other important messages for or things to be aware of for 2025?
They just want you to be very aware of the collective energy so that it's not impacting you so deeply.
Mm,
Um, I mean, because here's the thing. I mean, yeah, it's hard to say like don't be impacted by the energy, like because it's strong. Okay, we're in it. Like
yeah.
this is what's happening. Um, but like they're saying like when you find a level of peace within, you're able to exude that out to others so that it's not affecting you so much. Um,
Mm,
because whatever that is affecting you, because I'm telling you, there's going to be a lot of changes happening within the
mhm.
next year. We know this already. So,
Yeah.
a lot of changes happening in the next year. You're gonna have to, they're saying stand in your truth.
Yeah.
Make sure you are looking for the signs. They're saying look for the signs.
Okay.
Um, and talk to them and let them know, like, hey, be specific. Like, be specific with them. Like, I I need y'all to show me a sign of
Mm.
a red robin. I don't know, like a blue jay or a worm. I don't know, like
Yeah.
they're giving me these examples.
They've been leaving feathers on my path a lot recently.
Okay, that makes sense why birds were showing up. Like, I'm like, okay, they're saying like birds or so be specific about what it is you need to see from them in order to confirm their message.
Got it.
So like saying being very specific. Uh,
Yeah.
because next year is a five personal year for you, it will be a lot of things coming at you where it's like it can make you um not only kind of like distracted, but it can be overwhelming a little bit. So in order to be more grounded, because you still need that four energy to ground yourself, to be
Mhm.
more grounded, connect with them.
Okay.
Okay.
Got it.
To be more grounded, connect with them. Uh,
Yeah.
Yeah, but other than that, they're saying it's going to start coming up. As it comes up, you'll be able to tackle it when it comes there, when it comes to you.
Hmm.
So, but compassion, extend it to yourself and to others, even when they're not extending it to you. That doesn't mean take bullshit.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
That does not mean that. That means even in the darkest moments, okay, you still are a beacon of light. So don't take nobody's shit and still stand in your truth. You know what I mean? Stand in your truth. Be that beacon. I'm getting a Statue of Liberty.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's like the Statue of Liberty or what was the movie company that has the woman standing there like the Statue of Liberty? Um
Oh, I'm trying to think.
it's in my head. I can see it. But the woman, when the beginning of the movies, they show her, and then like they show like maybe a zombie movie, and she takes her torch and she's like whooping the zombies. That's what I'm getting. That's the energy that it needs to be. Okay, so she's just like, yeah, I'm here, and she takes it, flips it, and then whoops everybody with it so that the zombies go, and then she brings it back up. So that's the energy that it needs to be for you all next year. Even
All next.
all
Okay.
next year.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
all
Okay.
next year.
All right. I feel like I need to like fortify myself, prepare myself in some way.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep. So yeah, definitely, most definitely prepare yourself.
yeah. Okay. That's good to know.
Mhm.
I'm gonna take some. I don't know. I'm just thinking about like building strength in the body too. I'm like, maybe I'll take some like cardio kickboxing classes or something. I don't know. Just
Yes, get your
that,
energy
that
moving.
energy out. Yeah.
Yeah, get it moving. Like get yourself together. That's why I'm like, I see just standing, whatever you can do to stand strong in your light, in your truth, and in your body, then
Yeah.
that's what you want to do.
I love that. Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you feel like, well, how are you feeling in general? How are you feeling?
Yeah. Well, I feel like this is, first of all, like very cool to get this information ahead of time. Because I feel like otherwise, sometimes when it comes out of left field and you just don't see any of it coming, it can feel even more aggressive. So I feel like that's great. And I feel like it made me feel a little bit nervous when you said the sibling part, because I was like, I feel so solid with my siblings. Like I don't even know what it would be. Like what would disrupt that? That's why it made me think maybe like we were coming together in some way.
Mm-hmm.
And it was uh something that had to do more with my parents. I don't know. But now I feel like there's just a little tinge within me where I was like, okay, this is great. I know what I need to do. I'm getting more clarity about the year ahead. And then that little tinge of being nervous of like, oh no, am I gonna like fall out with my siblings? And like we're not gonna be good? Like, yeah. So that's the only thing that I'm feeling. Yeah.
Yeah, which is understandable, especially if you have such a solid foundation with them and relationship with them. Like I said, it can go either way, however you want it to. Because as long as like things are rooted in love and compassion,
Yeah.
then you can really make it through anything. That's why it's so the message of compassion, extending it to people and
Yes.
extending it to yourself is so important because if that is your base, then disagreements are just disagreements. You can agree to disagree.
Yeah.
And so the thing is like if I would even encourage your siblings to even stand in their light and then stand in their truth because this is
Yeah.
an opportunity for you all to kind of learn something else about each other that you didn't know before. And what happens with that is that you you find that circumstances, situations, hardships will bring out certain aspects of people, you know.
Yeah.
So when that happens, it's like, okay, you know what? You're my sibling. I love you. You know,
Mhm.
we can work through this. Or
Right.
don't talk to me anymore. And this is that, and so that's
So
what
yeah.
I'm saying is like it can go either way because people's triggers are different and you never know what somebody's going to trigger you or what you're doing to trigger them.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a little bit of like it's a lot of everything. But I do see that it's not something I wouldn't walk into it feeling like on edge or like walking on eggshells. I would just walk into it like you would with your siblings any other day and extend love to them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. That makes sense.
Just allow things to happen and remember the words that I'm telling you.
Right. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
I took down I got some notes.
But yeah, so I'm happy that we even were able to have this conversation and talk. Um, I hope this really was able, like, I hope I was able to help you a lot. You got to check in with me and tell me how things are going,
Yes.
and keep me posted on new updates with your business and like how I can support you. But either way, I'm just so grateful that you're here with me and that you decided that you want to be a part of the podcast. So I hope anybody who listens to this, can take a message from it because I feel like so many people can really benefit from the messages that you received today. So, yeah, I'm so thankful and I appreciate you being here with me.
Yes, I'm so grateful as well. Thank you so much for sharing your time and your gifts and your wisdom. I feel like I'm excited to actually listen to this back. To be able to listen to the podcast and like digest this information again
Yep.
because I just feel like there's so much. Like we
Yeah,
talked for.
it usually is. It usually is. So when this does air, like you're going to be able to look back and be like, you know what? I didn't pick that one up yet, but now I did. So yeah, I'm happy that we were able to do this, and I'm excited. So I'm excited. Happy early 2025 and happy early birthday.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, and just thank you again. This is amazing.
Thank you. So if you stuck around to the very end, thank you so much for listening today and witnessing this experience happen. This is exactly how a lot of my sessions go. And they go a lot deeper the more time I have with people. And I really appreciate you even being here. So with that being said, thank you again. Let me know in the comments what you want to hear next, what you want to talk about, what you want me to talk about. And yeah, I'm doing dream interpretations and live readings on my podcast. So go ahead, check it out at queenswithlitdreams.com. I appreciate you again. And thank you so much for having me in your space. So thank you. Have a good one, y'all. Peace out. Thanks for joining us this week on the Illuminated Ally. You can also follow me on all social media platforms at Queens with Lit Dreams. If you love the show, please leave a rating so I can continue to bring more episodes that you love. If you enjoyed this experience and want to personally check it out for yourself, visit www.queenswithlitdreams.com. As always, subscribe to the show, leave feedback on what you want to hear next, and I'll see you next week. Thanks for listening.